Let's zoom out on the map, or zoom in, I should say, so you can actually see my track. If I get a find, I'll create a marker point. And if I don't get a find, maybe we'll just pretend I got a find. This is just a hayfield. No reason to believe there's anything in here. You can't hear the metal detector because I've got headphones on. This is just a gold bug detector. Something there, but it's really faint. Oh, did I turn tracking off? Why am I not tracking? Oh yeah, it is off. Sorry about that. So you probably saw the button I pushed there. And now the tracking has restarted. Well, let's pretend we found something here. Dug it up, and we got ourselves a quarter. So let's put a marker. You see the red circle that showed up? Click on the red circle, and it gives me the GPS position. It gives me an edit. So you press the edit, and I can actually type in some text here. Let's say, found silver quarter. And we just hit the check mark and it saves it. And now we've got some edited text in there that says found silver quarter. Well, maybe you want more than that. Maybe you want a picture of the quarter. So let's take a picture. So we've got a camera. And while using the app, take a picture of the quarter. So we say OK. And if we had in our gallery a picture we wanted to add, we could add that. Or if we want to add some audio, we could add an audio clip by pressing the audio button. Let's just minimize that again. And let's keep going. Well, it looks like our position is getting out of the field of view. So I'm just going to scroll that over. So in an open field, I can get a pretty good reference as to my position by just looking around. But if I was doing this in, say, the forests of Virginia, looking at old home sites, one tree looks like another. You really don't have a frame of reference, and it might not be so easy to get back to that same location in the future. Well, if you've got the gold mapper, that particular position in the forest, you create a marker, put a comment. Comment says something like cellar hole, found lots of ceramics, no silver, did find an old copper, etc. So you've got a note. You only got the day because you got work to go back to. So you come out again the next weekend. You know exactly where to go. You just use the GPS, find your point, and Bob's your uncle. Do a lot of detecting, except for in the search for gold. And I have successfully found a gold nugget before using my gold bug. But in that application, when it comes to prospecting, what I found is when on my travels, even while driving, if I see a creek, I will stop and I'll pan it. And this has become so routine for me that I really don't know anymore if I've panned a particular creek. So a couple of times I found myself panning a creek again, and I'm looking around and I go, this looks really familiar. And it turns out, yeah, it does. So it'll save a little bit of wasted time when it comes to just random prospecting. But if you actually have a plan, I've got a particular destination in mind, and it's probably an area I have not explored before. So when I get out there, I'll do the same thing. While I'm driving, I see a creek, I'll stop and I'll pan it. If I find some gold in a creek and I've got time, I've got a backpack with me, and it's reasonable to do so, I'll explore up that creek, and I'll pan multiple spots up the creek. And I'll keep a record of what I found at each of the spots. You're going to have different results at different points on the creek. So as I go up, if I get 6 flakes in the pan, at this point, I'll keep a note of that. If I go up further, I've got 10 flakes in the pan, but now I've only got 5 flakes in the pan. A little further up, I only got 3 flakes in the pan. A little further up after that, I got nothing. It's nothing at all. Well, what does that tell you? Since you kept a record of every place you panned, you know where to go back to find the highest concentration of the gold. Now, gold comes from somewhere, so at that point, I'd be looking for maybe signs of a seasonal creek on the shores of the creek, where potentially gold could be brought down. If not that, I'd be looking for some float, some quartz with potentially some ore in it, to see if it's coming out of that. I'd be looking at the bedrock around there if there is any, to see if there's any ore in that. And that's where the utility comes in, because you can track what you've done, where you've been, and what you found. You're not simply relying on memory. And that's actually what motivated me to design this app in the first place. I found myself using Google Maps and then keeping notes, but honestly, that just didn't cut it. Because you can keep a note, you can even do a GPS point, but it's a lot easier to find something if you got a GPS point locked onto a map than it is if you simply got a number. And each trip can be saved as a different session. So this session today, okay, let's pretend we found another signal here. Let's get the map back on track. And according to this Google Maps, I'm underwater. It actually is a wet spot, but it's not underwater for sure. So let's say here we found a penny. And we'll save it. Okay, let's move along. Working my way along here, and I've got my backpack. In my backpack, I've got some light camping equipment. I got a fold-up hammock. I've got one of those little fold-up little camp stoves. Got a little bit of water. I got some military rations because they're nice and light. And it's getting late. And I'm getting kind of far from the car. And I'm not sure I can get back in time before it gets dark. Thinking maybe I'm going to set up camp here. Put a data point. I'm going to click on that. Let's say this is a campsite. Okay, so I just created a campsite. And now it's green coded, which tells you it's a campsite. And with time, you're going to get to know what the color codes mean. The menu's pretty short. What is there? 6 items in there. Categories. We've got campsite, got a water source, got hazards. So we've got a campsite here, and we're going to set up camp. And just clean my fingers off here. While I'm here at camp, I'll look around, and I find a pretty good water source. So we'll get that on the map too. Well, what else can we do with this? Some of these other icons on the screen, we've got a download icon. There, the map view was saved to storage. So what that does is, say I lose the cell signal out here. You get out in the bush, that happens a lot. I lose the cell signal, the map will stay on my screen. And your GPS, you tend to keep GPS signals in places you would never have a cell signal. Like last year I was out for the summer, and I was at one spot. I think I ran out of cell signal about 20 kilometers in. I went another 60 kilometers in, and during the entire time I was in that 60K, I still had a GPS signal. Now that's probably going to go outside the field of view for your map. So its utility is somewhat limited to the area you're in, but hopefully you're going to pick up another cell signal soon, and then you can refresh the map. But at least if you've got a map on your screen and you've got your GPS, you can find your way back to one of your reference points. Maybe it was your campsite, maybe it's your car. Depends on when you saved it and where you are. What other features do we have here? This button, see the big red one that shows that I'm tracking. You can't see my finger, but we've got the download button, then we've got the polygon button, then we've got the tracking, and then below it we've got clear path. This is going to clear my track. It's gone. Okay, now all I have is my reference points. So if I wanted to backtrack at this point, I can't. But you know what I want to do is I want to draw a perimeter around my campsite, and maybe I'm going to work this perimeter. And I'm just touching the screen, and every time I touch the screen, it draws point to point. And when I'm done, I end up with a yellow square. And then at the top of the screen, if I hit save, that becomes a red square and the fill disappears. And there we go. I've got a, maybe that's a search area and a grid that I want to work in my metal detecting. And I'll work within that area, referencing my map as I do my sweeps. And then when I'm done, maybe I'll put a point here, a point here, a point here, and a point here, and I'll make myself another grid. Okay, so let's hit the grid button. 1, 2, 3, 4. Made myself another grid. And again, I save it, and I'll work that grid. So you can grid off a piece of property and then keep markers in it. Now, if you have a claim, a gold claim, this is really ideal because when you first start working your claim, you have to prospect it. You have to figure out where the gold is, whether that's digging with a shovel, running a drill with a hollow bit on it so you can core sample. Maybe you're even working it with an excavator, who knows? But you are taking samples. But when you do that, you have to work off of a grid so you know you've covered all of your ground. And you have to have records for your samples. So if I took a sample here, point, 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 I'm going to work all those on my grid. After I work point 1, I keep a record. Nothing. 2 feet depth. So I sampled to 2 feet and I found nothing. And I save it. And then the next point, 1 speck. Out of 10 pans. And I save it. You might have a system. Maybe for every point that you checked, you'll change its status. So it's general right now. And I'm simply going to change its status to, let's go with hazard. Because to me, that's a hazard. It's area I don't want to check again. And this one I've checked, so I change it to hazard. One up here I haven't checked yet. So I'm going to leave it in general. I just dug, went down 2 feet, found 10 flecks per pan, down 1 foot. So again, you've got a record, and I've checked that one, so I'm going to switch that gold. Because that's not bad, 10 flecks in a pan. If you're in a high banker, you can get some gold out of that. What other features do we have on here? Very bottom of the screen on the right, you have minus and plus. The plus is hidden by this one thing here, which centers us. So the very bottom icon centers the map on whatever position you're in. And of course, we've got the compass at the very top on the right, so you can always orient to get your way back to wherever you want to go. Now at the top of the menu, we've got our view. I'm currently just in the normal view, but let's look at the satellite. Okay, there's the satellite view. Now let's look at terrain view. This is flat land out here. See if we can get any terrain. Did I actually switch to terrain? There should be a little bit of contours out here. Oh, there they are. So you can see some contours as we get it out a bit. And then we have hybrid view. And hybrid gives us a combination of the normal and the satellite. So you end up with some roads, towns, names, things like that for referencing. Most of the time I find outside, because you want to have a fairly light background, I like to be working in the normal or in the terrain. The terrain's nice if you get into the mountains because you can start to see the terrain up ahead, see around corners. You get a bunch of trees in the way. It's not always possible to see that there's a ridge in front of you. What other features? Another menu button up on the top. It has all these different sessions that have been created. So when I started up the program today, started up the app, I was given the option of starting a new session or returning to my last session. And I started a new session. So it has the date, March 22nd. 1417, started at 2:17. Got another one for March 22nd, another one, and another one. But each one is an independent session. So if today I went up Creek X and tomorrow I go up Creek Y, I'll just make those two different sessions. Or if I go up Creek X and I camp overnight, and then the next day I start exploring some more, I might make that my next session. It doesn't really matter. It's all on the map, so you know exactly where it is. And if I come at any time, I can click on any one of these sessions and it will open it. And I can go back to the session I was on. And there it is. And we could restart our tracking right now if we wanted to. What else can we do here? We've got information at the top about the app and privacy sharing information. You'll notice at the top it also says Prospector. There are two tiers for this. There's the free minor, which is the introductory, and there's the Prospector, which is a full feature app. And the full feature app has the hybrid and the satellite maps. The introductory does not. The full feature has the download, not the share function, because I can take today's session and I can share it in GPX or KML format. This can be Bluetooth to, say, a friend's phone, and they can run the same app on theirs and you could share a map. I think that was it for paid. If it's otherwise, I'll make a note in this video. You didn't see me erase a polygon. So I want to get rid of this polygon. I just click on it and I delete it. I want to get rid of this one. I click on it and I delete it. That about has it covered other than exiting the app. And that's done with the X at the top. I think I will end the video here.